The distortion of the fabric of space and time around one black hole also exists for the other black hole. So you have black holes entering each other's event horizons. So I opened up that thesis. I didn't understand a single page in it. And fuck your ass.
This is the solo podcast. It's been weird to put this together. There's like a sense of anticipation for me to do this. And it's hard for me to do this because I'm going to try and figure myself out and really speak and record it. Hopefully I can go back to it and, maybe shed some light on it in future dates. And the main goal of me recording this and putting this out is I want to invite you to get to know me and in turn get to know yourself more. The questions I ask myself, I hope you ask yourself the same questions. I've been thinking about a lot of things. Well, first I shaved my head. That's because I do it often, and I'm going to do it more often because I don't like that my hair has control over me. Like, hair is an important thing when it comes to like looks and your personality, and I like to get rid of it. Just get rid of it because it sheds like a layer. Like, I feel like a better person after I do it. Like, I feel like any built up negativity or any built up it's like when I shave my head, I'm voluntarily becoming worse looking. And I take power in that because I take power in not caring about what I look like because there's more to me than this body. And the difference between my body and my mind is different. Not really my body, my mind. There's, like, I was thinking about this, like, I wrote it down in my diary. I might read from it, who knows. But I was looking in the mirror and, hold on, let me run this back. I'll start from the beginning. So I've been doing this thing. I messed it up in the podcast. I called it, what I call it? I called it something, but it's actually called active imagination. That's the type of meditation it is. And I was doing this meditation and I was closing my eyes, staring into the void. And when it happens, when you start, actively imagining in it, you really break through, right? If you really want to know what I'm talking about, I recommend looking it up and really understanding it because I don't really want to go into too much detail about it. But the gist of it is I laid in my bed and I stared into the void of my eyes and concentrated as hard as I could into awakening my unconscious. And as I did it, I looked in and a woman appeared, a pale woman with blood coming out of her eyes. And she appeared out of the mist of like the void, like she appeared out of the darkness. And she smiled at me and laughed and then drifted away as if to say, you have no idea what you're doing, And that really spooked me. So I opened my eyes and I get freaked out. I'm like, whoa. Oh no, like what the hell was that? Because it was more real than any imagination I've ever had. It was like it wasn't me. It was autonomous to me. It appeared without me thinking it. Like I can think, let me think of a pink elephant, as everyone says. I can think of a pink elephant. No. This thing literally just went, I'm here. Look at me. Notice me. And left. It was just like, yeah, you don't know what you're doing right now. You don't know what you've got yourself into, and maybe I look back on that in the future, maybe that's the start of my journey and I go, yeah, that's what she was doing, who knows. So then I get scared and then I think about it, and then Carl Jung said that, you know, you just have to confront this and try and understand what it is rather than getting scared of it. Like, you can't give it power, you know? So I close my eyes again and I say in my head, I call out into the void. I say, like, why are you trying to scare me? What have you got to teach me? And I stare and I stare and I stare. And then out of nowhere, a cat, like a large cat, predatory cat, appears, and it screams at me, hisses, but it's like it's fear. It's like it doesn't want me to come closer. Like it's like a caged animal, you know? You know when you see like the pumas and stuff when they put them in a cage and they corner them and they just stay away from me, stay away from me. That's what it was like. And it's like it got brought closer and closer to me. Like it got forced onto me, or it could have been me coming closer to it. I don't know what it was because I can't move. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that was the message. Like it was. We were getting closer to each other, and it opened its mouth and it hissed and screamed like the loudest. And then its eyes glossed over white, and then its face drained of color, and it went all frail and died and then disappeared. And then I opened my eyes and I said, "That's enough for tonight. I'm just gonna go to bed because I don't know what that is." And to me, it was weird. Like it was so freaky, but I didn't think much of it. Like I was like, "Oh, I'll figure that out." But I essentially just put it straight to the back of my mind, and I was like, "I'll just keep doing active imagination. I don't know what that means or whatever. Keep moving on with my life." And then I went and saw the boys, and we're talking about it, and we're looking it up, and they were interested, and I was like, "Oh, fair enough. Like, let's look into it then. Like, I feel like if it's interesting enough to grab all my mates' attention, it's something worthwhile." And they started looking up the meanings, and the woman with the eyes bleeding, it said roundabout, like, I'm just summing it up. I don't know it like verbatim, but it was your soul is in deep pain that you need to address. It's reaching out and telling you that it needs you to do something. And I was like, oh, I couldn't relate. I was just like, it's like my surface level consciousness was just like, I don't know what that means. Like, I feel pretty good. Like, I honestly am the happiest I've ever been right now in my entire life. And everything just keeps getting better, keeps getting better, keeps getting better. Right? And so this set me back. And then we looked up what it was. And then we looked at leopard, and the leopard said something, and then the jaguar was like a gatekeeper of the mystical world. I was like, oh, okay. And then it said, and somewhere along the lines it said that one of the cat's meanings were that you had to look within yourself and address yourself. And I think Gus said that he notices, and I think I've said it before, that I'm really hard on myself. And man, this is a lot harder to do than I thought, like, to let this up. Like, I got this feeling in my stomach of just anxiety. Because I'm sharing a lot about myself. I'm not sure if you guys can, like, I'm not sure if it comes through across, like, through the screen, like, with you guys watching it. But it's genuinely hard to do. And I'm going to, like, get into some deeper stuff that I've been thinking about in the shower. And it's even harder to say. But with the leopard, right? So then it said that, you know, your soul is calling out and it wants help. And then some symbolism with the leopard, we draw the conclusion that I am too hard on myself and that I need to learn to love myself. And I always thought I did love myself, but it turns out I loved myself, but not in a true way, you know? Completely critical of myself all the time. And so I said that, I said, wow, that's deep. And I think Finn said, bro, your soul's sending you a text message right now, because the symbolism that was all together really just synced up, and it said that's exactly it. And all the boys were like, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm really trying to be less critical of myself, and that translates when I looked into the mirror, as I said earlier, right? So I hear all this, and I'm like, I have no idea how to even address any of this information. I felt like I lacked the tools to look within myself deep enough to really assess how to fix this. So I just, just try, be mindful of it. And I noticed, like ways of thinking. Like I'm one to avoid mirrors because I naturally have a high self-esteem, and it's not always like evident, right? But I can be like narcissistic and I can be cocky if I allow myself, and I'm constantly checking myself on that. So I avoid mirrors because I don't like to look at myself because I like what I see in the mirror, and that's vanity to me, right? And so I'm scared. So then I look at myself in the mirror and I go, fuck off, like get away, don't allow myself to go down that road. And then from that, I feel, and maybe not from that, but I don't know, like that's just a layer of it, and maybe it'll become clear after. But with all this in mind, I went into the mirror and I looked at myself, and I just said, like, if I'm not, because I know I am harsh on myself, like every time I do a podcast or something, I think about it over and over again, and I'm not satisfied with something I said. I'm not satisfied how I say it. I'm not satisfied with my ideas at the time. I have such high expectations for myself, right? And it's like I have two selves, and it's like I have my self that puts the expectations onto the other self, It's like I have my higher being, right? It's a wacky term. I don't know. Come up with a better term. This is how I put it, right? A higher being, as in the highest expectation of what my soul wants me from me, right? It's what my soul tells me it wants me to do. And then there's me, right? This guy, this literal 19-year-old boy, a young man, right? I'm barely into my life. So much to learn. And this being that is me as well tells me that I'm not good enough. You need to be doing better. Try harder. And maybe that's from my childhood, maybe that's from whatever, but that's probably part of it. But I feel like there is a deeper there's like a deeper side of myself that that expects a lot of things from me. And it's like it expects a lot of things from me, but it uses the conduit of a flawed mortal man to do it. So when I make mistakes, and they're not even big mistakes, but like due to my high expectations I have of myself and the desires that I call upon myself, and I'm not satisfied unless I meet those desires that come from within, right? And they're healthy desires, but the way I punish myself is unhealthy, I'm like, don't give myself appreciation for how hard I am trying. So like I have my high expectation self, my higher self has an expectation for my mortal physical being, right? It's like that person that's in my head is telling me to do all this stuff, and it says, you need to do this, you're expected to do this. But it doesn't actually have to do it, It probably could, but it doesn't exist in the material world. Like the guy who has to do it is a flawed human being, So I try my best. I'm really trying hard. And then when I fail, that higher self goes, not good enough. You see? Not good enough. And it gets angry. I get angry at myself. Right? And it's hard. Like I'm going it, they, him. It's all me, but it's fractions of myself, up in here, the different sides, right? Different levels. And then I'm in the mirror and I'm looking, and from where I am standing, I am my higher self, and I'm looking into the mirror, and the reflection is that young boy that I see, the young flawed boy. And I see the vulnerability in his eyes. I see how hard he really is trying, And as I am now, I well up with tears when I think about this, right? My higher self looks at him and goes, man, I've just been negatively reinforcing everything my whole life, and I never really appreciated how hard I am trying, right? Because I do get a lot of things that I want right, And I mean, things I'm getting right is my character, my personality, how I carry myself, like deep importance to me, right? Beyond success, beyond, attaining things but beyond material, my being, who I am in this world, how I manifest, like how I manifest who I am, right? Like I'm the type of person to have a bit of paper in their pocket, right? And I'll pull it out and, or maybe I'll pull it out and I'll just go, oh, it's a piece of paper, toss it just on the ground. It'll disintegrate, or it'll fall out, or I'll have like a popper wrapper, right, with the straw, the top bit that you rip off. It falls on the ground and it blows away. And I'll like, I'll run and I can't handle leaving it because it's not right to me, right? Like that's how like intense I am with how right. So I'll run and I'll pick up that piece of paper and there's no bins around. So I'll just put it back in my pocket and I'll wait until there's a bin and then I'll put it in the bin. And that's a very simple thing, but that's an expectation I have of myself. And if I fail that expectation, I'm very hard on myself. Like I literally can't do that because of the negative that will come from it. Like I won't enjoy the rest of my day if I don't live up to who I think I should be, right? Like another one is I had my hair, like I shaved my hair on out there, shaved it all off, and then mum's like, go put it in the bin because I left it, right? And then so I pick it up and I pick up all this stuff and there's a stick caught up in the bunch. And I go and open the bin up and chuck it in. And then I see there's a stick in the bin. I'm like, this stick doesn't deserve to go in the bin. So I pull the stick out and I chuck it over the back and I put it in the leaf litter where the stick belongs. Break down, become back part of the earth rather than going in landfill, which I suppose becomes the same thing. But for whatever reason, it's stupid when you look at it real closely. But this is just quick stuff, like blah 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 blah. And I look into the mirror and I just said like, I finally looked into the mirror and I saw this other side of myself and I just said, I love you, man. I said, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I saw the vulnerable young boy appreciate that. I saw, like, I was thankful that I finally acknowledged that I am trying, and I got a sense of peace from that. And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm articulating it well enough to you guys, but I hope I am. So then, this all came to a head because I was in the shower and I was doing something. What was I doing? Alright, I remember. I worked a really long day at work, right? It was like, I got up at 5, I came home at like 6, and I was just like, annoyed. Because I was tired, I only got like 4.5, 5 hours not sleep the night before. And I come home, and mum's like, how's your day? I said, wasn't too good. I never really say that, right? So I was just in a negative mood, because I'm usually a pretty happy person. And then I sit down, I get the food, I'm just getting annoyed, like, people are talking to me and I don't want to talk, and the more I don't want to talk, it's unusual, so people want to talk to me more to make sure I'm okay. I'm like, no, really, the only good thing you can do is just leave me alone. And how are they supposed to know that, right? Like, they can't read my mind, like, and if I explain that to them, I can't help myself but say that in a mean way, right? Like be real blunt about it, rude about it. So I had my food, right? I went into the shower and I was still angry, right? And it was Wednesday and I wasn't working the next day, right? It was Wednesday afternoon and I didn't work Thursday. So I had a free day the next day, and this was usually like a really nice time for me, Wednesday afternoon, I can just chill, do whatever I want, don't need to worry about work, stay up, don't need to go to bed at a certain time. And I sat in the shower and I sat on the floor and I said, what are you doing, man? Like, look what your life is. Like, realistically, you just worked a long day and got paid pretty good money for your age, and you're a little hungry and a little tired. You live in a great house with a great family. What are you doing? You know? And all those points are very valid. But look at the mentality that I approached myself with anger. My higher self was like, you ungrateful shit, right? Rather than this approach that I caught myself, right? And this is only I only picked this up from having these thoughts, having those visions, right? Seeing the lady with the bloody eyes, right? My soul, my anima, calling out, crying blood. It's in pain. It wants me to recognize that I need to love myself properly. So I catch myself in this negative, like putting myself down, saying I'm ungrateful, which was true, but I said, why am I talking to myself like this? I can achieve the same results and be happy rather than prolonging, right? I could just be upset with myself in a different way, and then eventually I'll get over it, because then, I'll move beyond it and say, yeah, you were right, and then get over it. But I stopped and I said, hey, change my mindset, change the way I approach this. Hey man, look at this. Look at what you've got. Come on, cheer up. You got paid good money. You're living a good life. And the job's done. Your belly's full. What have you got to worry about, man? Come on, let's just enjoy this. I was a pal to myself. My higher self was my own friend, encouraging me rather than an authoritarian force telling me what to do, right? Telling me I'm not good enough. It's just a negative mindset to a positive mindset, So I want to encourage myself, and I want to encourage you guys to positively reinforce yourself. What's the benefit of being negative, right? Of course, there's times where negativity is valid, but I never, ever internally speak to myself like, let's go, come on. I only speak like that to my friends. I don't have that relationship with myself like that, and that's not loving myself. I think a lot of us have this facade of loving ourselves, but is that the case? I don't know. And from this, you continue to think and think and think, and that's the end of chapter 1. Here comes chapter 2. We're watching a nature documentary, right? And there was, we're watching big cats on the savannah. And there was the cheetah. And it said that the cheetah is revered for its speed and intensity and its pure, it's just phenomenal as an animal, right? And though the biggest flaw of the cheetah is that it can only work in short bursts. It can achieve so much, but in short bursts. And I sat there gobsmacked as a revelation came over to me, and I said, hey, that's me, right? That is literally me. I look at myself, genetically gifted, right? Objectively genetically gifted, I promise you guys, right? I'm not trying to G myself up, but I have a good meat body. I have a good vehicle that I'm in. I've been blessed with this good genetics, right? I am relatively good looking, right? I can make it by. I can get a decent girlfriend if I want. Also, I'm a pretty nice person, right? And then, so people see me and they see the potential for such a great life in me. They see how well I can be. And that's why people like me. The phenomenal basis of what I am is like a cheetah. But my biggest flaw, guys? Consistency. I am a cheetah. People like me because they like my potential. They see it. I act it out all the time, but I can't follow through. and I'm trying really hard. So, you know, I did the personality test, low conscientiousness, right? That was low, and I don't like that. I don't like being low conscientiousness, but it is, and that's just who I am, and I'm trying as hard as I can to change that. So people, I this is and what I feel people would see, because this is what I would see in another person if they were me, right? I'm trying to step away from who I am and look at myself from the third person. I see an athletically gifted person who's nice to others and is decent looking, right? I go, hey, this guy's got everything. You have all the potential. And I used to get upset at big guys in footy because I was like, and they wouldn't work hard. And I was like, guys, you literally have everything. If you just work hard, you can make the NRL. You can, like, that's professional rugby league in Australia. You can make the NRL, and you could literally spend your life playing rugby league if you just worked hard enough. And this is, I feel like a lot of people would have this opinion of me if they knew me well, right? They see, man, Harry can literally do whatever he can. If Harry has the power to do whatever he sets his mind on, if he just wants to. I see that with myself, right? And maybe I'm projecting that other people would see that in me because I see that in myself. Maybe people don't see me that way, right? But I think it's true, right? And I am literally a cheater. I do something, I get really good at it, and then I fall off before I reach number one. I never come first in anything, guys. Third, 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 third. I come third. Look at this. Two wrestling competitions this year. Third in both of them. I was happy with third for the first one because it was my first proper one that I tried hard in. The second one, I could have won if I put in more training, and that's why I'm not happy with myself because I get to that point. Oh, third's pretty good. Therefore, the next one let's do it because I got third. I'll probably do better next time, right? And what happens? I get third again. I lose the motivation once I get almost there because I'm like, yeah, I'm almost there. I teeter off. I take the foot off the gas pedal. I lose motivation. I don't know why. I don't know why. Every running race, I come third. Every footy team I've played in, I've never won a grand final. Second. Come second every time. Classes, in the subjects I'm good at, I come like third in the class, fourth in the class, fifth in the class. And then, down to just passing, That's pretty much where I've been. And I see this pattern in myself and I think, fuck that. I don't like that. Because I literally can do anything I want if I want it. Just like all of you guys can. I feel like a lot of us are cheaters. I see a lot of people who are extremely talented in many different ways. But they're cheaters. They for whatever reason don't follow it all the way through. And I'm sitting on the lounge and I look to my left and I see my mate Chris. He's probably watching this. Hey bro. I've told you this before. And as I look over at him, what pops up on the screen? A lion, right? And that is Chris. And I watched the video, it just so happened, right? It's synchronicities, guys. These things all fall into play. So this video, and this guy said, the lion isn't the biggest, isn't the fastest, and isn't the strongest in the jungle. It's the mentality. It has the mentality of success. The lion knows it's the king. It knows it will do it. Right? It knows what it wants and it gets it. Consistently. It's just there. Right? And I feel like that's the difference, right? It's like, do you believe you can do something? Right? I believe I can do this. I believe I can do this. I'm going to do this. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. You got to take that step. And you have to know you're going to do it. Right? Your whole basis of who you are revolves around doing that. Because you know what's going to happen. And, you know, Chris is in my life as the lion and I'm the cheetah. And I can learn a lot from the lion. Right? As a friend, he's my savior. And I have other mates like that, like Shanley, right? He's another lion. I see it in their mentalities. They're conscientious, right? And, you know, their conscientiousness is a part of them, but they lack other areas that I have, right? So they see things in me that they don't have. And through me being friends with them, they get a part of it. Just like I get a part of their conscientiousness. They are a role model for me. My friends are my role models, just like I'm a role model for my friends. Spiraling up to success together. Trust me, it'll happen, right? So I see this conscientiousness and I say, that's my ticket out. Being friends with the conscientiousness, being friends with the boys who will push me because they make me feel lazy, turns the cheetah into the lion, because I'm not satisfied with coming third my whole life. I don't want that. And it's not even about being first. It's about following through fully and achieving what I want. I don't even know what that is yet. I'm on the path of it. And I'm happy being on the path of it, right? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? Yeah. So maybe the cat in my vision was a cheetah. And that's like a secondary vision. But as you can see, like there's so much stuff going on here. And I'm going to change it up. Chapter 2 and chapter 3. And this is where I have to say things that it's hard for me to say, right? And the more you say it, the easier it becomes to say it. Like, I struggled saying that I wanted to do stand-up comedy, right? And I still want to do it. And I will do it before my birthday. I'll do it if lockdown allows, right? We're in lockdown. If you know, stoicism, only can control what you can control. If you can't control it, don't worry about it, right? So, if lockdown and coronavirus permits, I'll be doing an open mic night before my birthday, which is September 3rd, right? It is currently the 10th of July. I've given myself a lot of time because I'm scared. I'm really scared to do it. And I'm not even sure if comedy is what I really want to do anymore, right? So much things are shifting in my life. I don't even know what I want. But I see a pathway that I'm just going to pursue, right? I just applied for psychology degree at UOW for next year or the year after if I don't get in, right? And I know I'm going to get it because I have to get it. I will get it. And it's an honours degree and I have to maintain like 75% for each subject. And I'll do it. If I get in, I'll just do it because that's just what has to happen, right? That's the mentality that I need to have. And I didn't have that mentality, right? And I think about my higher self and the desires that I have deep within myself. And it's hard to like express what I desire because I'm not even sure if it's true or if it's a delusion I tell myself, right? And a lot of people probably have a similar delusion and what separates me from being them, right? And that's the fear of revealing it to people, right? I have a deep desire to impact the way we think. I want to like achieve helping people philosophically. I want to add philosophically, you know? I want to think and know myself so deeply that other people want to learn about it and it's never been learnt before, you know? I want to add to the human knowledge of who we are. And the first criticism is, you know, why do you think you can do that? Who are you to think that? But you say that because you don't think that, you know? It only takes a person to desire that to actually achieve that. I hope. Right? I hope Socrates wasn't just sitting around and then he just was a genius. Like, I hope he desired to want to do what he did, you know? And that is a desire that I have, right? I desire to make an impact like Socrates, right? See the smile? See that smile? That's insecurity, guys. Right? Because who am I to desire these things? Who am I to wish this for myself? But I have this deep expectation of myself to do this. Deep, deep, deep. And I'm not satisfied with myself unless I achieve this. Right? And it's scary because I'm not sure if that's my ego or if that's actually my like higher self telling me this, right? I'm all muddled up. But as I also saw this on the documentary, right? I saw the crescent moon, right? And that is the chance of that happening, right? The crescent moon, the thinnest crescent of the moon, that tiny little bit of sunshine on the moon, right? And the moon is the possibility of my life. I am going to run on the thinnest crescent moon. And you know what is on the other side of that crescent moon? On the other side of that thin tightrope that I'm going to walk for my life? Failure. Complete failure. And that stops everyone else from attempting to run the thin line. But guess what? If I know I will achieve the journey across the crescent moon, I'll get there. Because it takes a person to desire it, to achieve it. It takes a person to risk everything to do it, right? People will say I'm a loser. People will say I'm a failure. People will give up on me. They'll say, what are you doing this for? And that's fine. Because a life where I don't achieve what I want to achieve, or at least reach a satisfaction, right? Like I may learn and grow and go, hey, that desire I have just now isn't exactly what I want. Let me redirect it in a certain different way, and that probably will happen. I'm not saying it will or it won't. Like, who am I to say what my journey is, right? There's different stages, and this might be a very naive young man's look at what I want, and it turns out I want something far different, right? I kind of hope so, because I feel like the desire of that is very grandeur, you know? But I really, it's not like I want, it's like I do, man. It's so hard. That's why I have this confliction of the ego. It's so hard to figure out what the motivation of this is, because it is that boy that I look at in the mirror isn't the one who wants it. It's this guy right here, the higher self, right? Is that a healthy higher self? Is that a good higher self? I don't know. But I feel like the illusion, right? There is an illusion of the darkness on the crescent moon, right? No one takes the risk because they all think they're going to fail. And that's why no one does it. But if I run on that line, I get to live the life I want to live, and I get to achieve it, because I won't be satisfied unless I achieve it. And I think you have to have the desire to want that to even achieve it, you know? No one who doesn't even think about doing it will even do it, you know? And if I have the mentality that I am not satisfied with anything else unless I achieve this, because this is just deep-seated within me, right? Deep within me, I want this, right? This being my life that I will potentially live, by following what I feel, right? Probably, might not necessarily mean I make an impact in philosophy. Maybe I learn to give up all my desire and live on a farm by myself. And that's a hard thing to do in itself. How many people do you know who do that? You don't know. But I want to live the uncommon life of following my dreams. And I feel that my desire of this is indicative of my success. No doubt. No doubt. And it's hard. It's a challenge for me to do it. And this is deep. This is deep within myself. Like, for me to reveal the desire immediately opens me to criticism and people saying, that's a false desire. It's a egotistical desire. Though I can say, no, you're wrong. I know who I am. And I am leaning to saying no, I know who I am. It is a true and wholesome desire. Though I am not at the point where I feel like I am able to contribute like that. I listen to all these intelligent speakers and I can't even grasp what they're saying, and it makes me so hungry to understand what they're saying. Like, how can this podcast mean something, right? If I can listen to another podcast and they're talking about things that I want to learn, but I don't know what they're saying. Like, literally, I don't know what they're saying. The concepts that they say are so deep. I can't. They say like a couple sentences and there's 3 foreign concepts, and they have it within their brain of knowing what that is. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I question, like, do I need to know everything so deep like that? Or can a conversation just like this, right? Can me just questioning myself and putting this out? Is that new? Is this conversation new? I haven't looked into someone talking like this and really revealing themselves like this. Who knows? Alright? All I can do is just try. And it's hard, man, because me revealing this, it's me putting my chips on the table, right? And I will only know, you guys will only know if this is true if you look at my life later. But is that it? You guys will look at it at the perspective of just this video. Maybe my life changes, right? I'll just have to make a video at the end of my life saying if it was true or not. Maybe I'll watch this video and then I'll make another video and I'll see if what I'm saying at the age of 19 on the 10th of July 2021 during the middle of a COVID pandemic, what I am saying right now, is it true? I'll only know once I run the thin crescent, It's scary to say this. And I've said that many times. I'm sure you guys are almost sick of listening to me. I hope I capture attention. I hope people want to listen. Because that means it allows me to continue the path that I want, If people like what I say, it's evident that I might be doing the right thing. And if they don't, do I keep doing it? Does that mean that it was a delusion the whole time? These are the pitfalls. These are the mental gymnastics that I play. And revealing this to the surface and manifesting this into the reality through this video scares me. Because if I fail, I've failed at what I want in life, And sharing this with people who can just click on this video and know me at this level is scary. Because I'm only learning this myself, and then someone just knows me like this. Whew. Like, oh, that's Harry Stratton. He wants to like have an influence like Socrates. Like, what the fuck am I saying? You know, where does that come from? What is the desire? Like, who the fuck am I to think that? Right? But see, the side of me that just said that, is that the side of everyone that tells them to sit down and just do what everyone else does? Is that the part that's bred into me to suppress that? Is that the dark side of myself that says, no, you can't do anything because who do you think you are to do it? Right? Is that a self-saving side of me, or is it the detriment to everyone? Because everyone has that voice. Who are you to have these thoughts? You have to have the thoughts and the desire to even begin to want to make the change, you know? And that voice is a constant teetering in my head. Do I listen to it or do I ignore it? A lot of people, you can just say, just ignore it. That's if you agree with what I'm doing. What about all the times that people will disagree with what I'm doing and they say, listen to it, shut the fuck up? And do I listen to other people as reference for what my purpose is, or do I follow the desire within myself? And I don't even know what the root desire is. You know, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's a complete egotistical status related thing. Like, I want to be revered. I want to have a legacy. Like, is that really where it comes from? I hope not. I want to do it for the greater good. Or is that just what I tell myself? Like, I am hungry for knowledge. I want to understand people. And I want to figure out the mechanisms of the world. If that makes any fucking sense. Because I start to see little ones. And I just want to keep scratching away at it. Yeah. Let's check my diary. Alright? This is another one. I talk about intellectual growth, though I both do and don't believe this. I'm talking about myself. Like, I believe that my intellect is growing, right? I am, like, intellect probably not the right word, but like ability to think abstractly and for myself, right? And that means a different thing. Like, think for yourself. It's like, I'll create my own, formulate my own ideas, but like, think for yourself as in ruminate in creating your own thoughts, you know. I can't explain it, right? And I feel like that's improving like exponentially from the start of this year to now is just ramped. Like, I don't know what the fuck's happening to me, right? It seems like a paradigm shift of who I am within my brain, you know. Like, I'm understanding myself better. Know thyself, as Socrates says. I talk about intellectual growth, though I both do and don't believe this, as I can't tell if the thought is from the ego or the deeper self. Like, do I think I have intellectual growth because I perceive a desire to want to be seen as intellectual? Or am I actually growing intellectually? I wish that I had a fucking manual where I could just say, this, and this. Oh, that's ego. This, and this. That's it. That, like, tick it off. And if they line up with this type of criteria, that's just your ego. Ignore it. All right, move beyond it. But that's the journey. That's the journey of being a human. I just have to keep knowing myself. Yeah, and I think that's the end of chapter 3. I think I'm gonna call it there. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that some of you guys will take some take some, like, I hope you guys can take something away from this, because, like, I am trying hard, and I need to give myself some slack, because I am trying really hard, right? And I'm trying to be as good as a person as I can. And I honestly love you guys. Like, I want you guys to do what I'm doing in a way. You know, I want you guys to find what you want to do and run the crescent with me, right? And I will support whatever you want to do, just like I support all my mates. Anything that they want to do, I want them to do it. I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. If they want it, they can do it, because it takes the desire to do it. And if you can ask the questions that I asked myself to yourself, and really dig down and think about it, I hope you can do that. I hope you find value in it. But you know, just another fucking, like, dude, like, look at me. Like, it's hard to look at myself now, but like, I'm looking at the camera now. I had GarageBand up, and now I'm looking at the camera recording me, and I look at myself, and there really is that little boy, like this. I'm just trying my best, and I'm not perfect, and that's all I can do. I can just try. So, I love you guys. Fuck your ass.
And fuck your ass.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?